What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, today is electric. So we're going to go ahead and go over the electric work that I did over the last few days and getting electric to our shed. We haven't wired up anything in the shed yet. We just went ahead and got electric from our panel into the shed. So let's go ahead and take a look and show you guys exactly what we're working with. But keep in mind, I'm not an electrician. I'm not a specialist. I'm going ahead and running all the wire to the shed, and then I'm actually having a professional electrician come in and terminate it. One, because I don't trust myself, and two, because I want to be safe. So let's go ahead and take a look at the shed. Okay, so we're starting to patch some of the grass spots here from working on the shed. Setting this up here, you can see we got down some soil and also some grass seed to kind of work on that. So where should we start? Let's start over on this side. All right, so here we have it. I never want to have to do this again. Let me see if I can get a better angle here. So it's not the most professional. Keep in mind, I don't do this every day. I don't do this every month. I don't do this every year. This was definitely a learning experience for me. So we have 3 total conduits coming out of the back of our garage here, and we'll go inside the garage after this first part of the video and show you guys the panel and the wiring and the wall. But we have 3 total conduits here that run down. Our first conduit has 2 Ethernet cables running through it. Our second conduit has 12-2 and also 10-2 Romex and our goal is to do a 20 amp 120 volt and then a 30 amp 240 volt. Our last one has 2 10-2 for an additional 30 amp 240 volt. So number of different cables. This one turned out nice and clean, and we went with this like rubberized flex conduit. Turned out really nice, worked out well. These two, man, look at this mess. Don't even show Chump Change, all right? He's gonna give me hell to start with. But this was so much more difficult than I ever imagined. Coming out of the house and doing a straight 90 and then going that way, it was super difficult. Definitely not my area of expertise. I know there's a lot of tricks to the trade you get from doing this stuff every day, and it was a struggle. Everything here took me several hours. So we ran everything this way, and I'll show you guys here. So we ran it over here, and then we came in over here. Now, these two worked out perfect, as you guys can see. Turned out nicely going straight into the shed. This one, I had to turn sideways, and I know, right? Well, we ran out of our flex conduit. It comes in 25 feet increments, and I bought 25 feet, but 25 feet was like almost $100. So I needed maybe another foot or 2 to actually turn this way and then pipe it that way. So we ended up sucking it up, and we turned the entire box this way. I know, right? After all this work, but I was not looking to go out and buy another 25 feet for $100 just to go ahead and have this extra cable available. So that's where we ended up doing it, and everything goes into the back of the shed here, as you guys can see. So it worked out pretty good. We did go ahead and put in some sealant and caulk on all sides of it. We tapped screws inside going into the side of the house. Same thing over here to get everything nice and secure. You can actually see a little bit of that caulk in there. Probably should have used white, or clear, but I only had a little bit of white, so it worked out fine. You can barely tell. And the nice thing is it's right here. Not gonna get a ton of water in this area because it's actually up underneath the soffit there, so it shouldn't be too terrible. Let's go ahead and go inside here. Take a look and see what we got. Okay. Inside of our shed. I apologize for the echo. Let's keep the door open for light. Okay, so as we talked about, here's our Cat 5 coming in. We ran 2. I don't need 2, but hell, for how cheap Cat 5 is, I might as well have just ran 2 cables. Now, you could say, well, why didn't you Cat 6? This is a mining shed, guys. We're not gonna be utilizing that type of throughput, and I had a box of Cat 5. I wasn't gonna go ahead and spend more money if I didn't need to. Then we have here, just like we talked about, 12-2 and 10-2, and then some more 10-2. So we're gonna have a decent amount here. So in the end, we're gonna have 3 30 amp 240 volt, 1 20 amp, 120 volt, and this one's really gonna be for, and this isn't live by the way, this is gonna be for like lights, it's gonna be for our exhaust fans, anything else that is not the direct mining hardware. And then I did go ahead and get clear sealant and went ahead and ran around everything to seal this off and clean this up in that regard. So we're gonna end up putting a junction box right here. I was talking with my electrician the other day. Junction box is gonna go here, and then we're gonna go ahead and run everything up over to this side and do all of our meter boxes off to the left with our 𝐷ROX meters. That'll be set up there. And then we're gonna take everything up, bring it up to here. And then I think I'm gonna do a cable track over to our rigs in the middle. This is actually just a probe, a Vivo Sun probe actually I had that goes back to my desk, and I can see the temperatures in the shed here. Just starting to get some ideas as to where we stand. So what's next? So we're not gonna go ahead and do any terminations inside the shed yet, any wiring in the shed yet. My next step is actually going to be this week. I'm gonna be installing the exhaust fans. I'm gonna do 4 of the AC Infinity shutter fans up top here. And then I have my gable vents over on this side where I'm gonna be doing as well. I did pick up 2x3s. That's the size of our studs, because I think I'm gonna end up cutting these and then boxing it out entirely to reinforce it. So I picked up a bunch of 2x3s for that project to do that. I don't know that I'll have to do that as much over here, but we'll definitely have to see. All right, let me go ahead and jump in the garage and I'll show you where this wires to. Okay, so we're in the garage here and I'll show you guys the mess we got going on. It's a little dark, I do apologize. So I did cut the drywall within this area. I really didn't know what I was working with. So we cut the drywall, and over here you can see everything came in. I actually filled it in with just the spray foam here on this side as well, just to double up on everything. So here's those 2 10-2s, the 12-2 and the 10-2, that's not going anywhere, and our 2 Cat5 cables here that we have a spool right here. Now that, I haven't figured out how I want to connect it. Do I do a biscuit jack or a junction box or something into our feed from the basement over here? Haven't really figured out exactly what to do. I'm not running a straight through cable. Way too much work to go ahead and run this down back through, but I'll have to figure out what I want to do here. Something on the outside so that I can access either of these as needed, something probably over here. So we drilled everything through and we just have a bunch of cable sitting here ready for termination. My thought pattern is, I'm talking to my electrician, we're gonna come over and go up behind the bike here, of course, and then come into the side of the panel, or if there's any room on the bottom, but we don't think there's any room left on the bottom. This is what I was using for the garage here. Huge shout out, by the way, to Mad Electron for actually printing this box for me. I do appreciate it. This is the 𝐷ROX meter here, guys, with an L630R locking plug receptacle. And if we take a look in our electric box, where you guys can see, here's our garage, one that's off, our basement and our office. Here, the open area in my basement. I have the mining in the center of my mining room here. And then we also have the other 2 in the mining room as well. So what's that gonna leave us? Our panel's starting to get full. So we have one 30 amp 240 volt to the shed, another 30 amp 240 volt to the shed, another 30 amp 240 volt to the shed, and one 20 amp 120 volt to the shed. So when I fill this up, which I will be soon, I don't plan to add any more electric. 1 from the panel side, 2 from the cost as a residential miner. So after I fill this panel, and if I fill my shed, and I fill my basement with hardware, tech, and electric, then we'll have to start thinking about looking at locations outside of the home. I think I've kind of used up as much as I can there. I'm not gonna bring in another panel, anything like that. It's just crazy. So that's kind of where we stand with the CryptoMining shed electric. As I said, we're gonna do intake and exhaust next, and then we're going to put the electrical in, because then I can pipe all my electrical around my intake and exhaust. It's not a race. I'm taking my time, trying to do this right, a little bit each week. So I'll be bringing you guys an update next week on the CryptoMining shed. Hopefully by then the intake and exhaust are installed and I can review that with you guys. If you guys spotted anything, recommendations, concerns, I've loved it. You guys left a ton last video. Please comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.